Most retirees have no idea this RMD strategy exists, and so instead, they heavily convert to Roth to avoid paying often even just 2% more tax on their RMDs when they could have eliminated all of it. And no, this is not a tax loophole. It's a completely legal strategy made permanent in the tax code in 2015. Most people just don't use it. By the end of this video, you'll know exactly what a qualified charitable distribution is and how it works, what it does to your tax bill, Medicare premiums, Social Security taxation, and more, and third, a common mistake to avoid when using them. I was just reached out to by a very charitably inclined woman preparing for retirement, and her biggest concern was getting started on converting to Roth as soon as possible, which may actually be okay. We haven't ran the numbers yet, but it's likely she will want to proceed very cautiously with this, as she could pay tens of thousands of dollars of unnecessary tax over the years. And you may be thinking, well, that's great for her that she's charitably inclined, but that just isn't the case for most retirees. And I probably would have agreed with that not too long ago, but according to GetNux's research, retirees over age 65, this is verified by multiple sources, gave 12% of their income on average. That's more than a tithe. So this isn't a strategy that requires just donating tons of money away that you never planned to. It's donating the same money in a better way. The problem here is that retirees are over converting to Roth because they don't want to pay additional taxes down the road. Who would? But in doing that, they maybe pay the 12% tax instead of 22% in a good case, but they could have paid 0%. And it's not just the taxes, because this isn't a deduction. It's better than a deduction. What makes QCDs so useful is they don't count towards your taxable income and your modified adjusted gross income. If they did, that could mean higher Medicare premium, Social Security tax, you name it. And the IRS have been allowing this for years. Michael Kitces, one of the most well-cited names in retirement planning, has called them one of the most underutilized strategies in retirement. There's a reason for that, and I'll show you what it is. A qualified charitable distribution, a QCD, is a direct transfer from your traditional IRA to a qualified charity. It never lands in your bank account. It never appears in your adjusted gross income or your modified adjusted gross income. To the IRS, it's as if that income never existed. But it satisfies your RMD if you have them. You must be age 70 and a half or older to use a QCD, so this is separate from the RMD age of 73 or 75, depending on when you were born, which also means you can take advantage of QCDs before your RMDs kick in that window between 70.5 and 73 or 75, which is a big opportunity. The transfer goes custodian to charity directly. If you withdraw the money first and then write a check, you've lost the benefit entirely. More on that later. Now, the annual limit for these QCDs is $111,000 per person as of 2026. So it's double that for a married couple. And while you probably don't come close to that each year, this is also a really big deal if you are considering a large one-time donation or a series of them, whether that be to help build a church or support whatever charity of your choice. Note that if you leave an IRA to a charity after you do pass away, assuming you have the proper beneficiary designations to do that, that generally isn't taxable to them. With QCDs, especially if you're later in life and you're planning on doing this anyways, you can always accelerate that gift while you're still here. It just can't go to a donor-advised fund. And to be clear, while these aren't available until age 70 and a half, the very fact that they exist and were made permanent in the tax code can be a fantastic reason not to convert to Roth, or at least all of your money. The common mistake here is thinking this isn't something to think about until you are old enough to take advantage of QCDs, when really there are great reasons to consider this before doing a conversion at any age. And if you're finding this useful, subscribe to the channel. You have my word, you won't regret it. And maybe you're thinking, I see the benefits here, but it's not a huge one. And that certainly can be the case, where depending on how much you already donate or what your RMDs are going to be, they may save you under $1,000 a year, which is still good, by the way. But there are plenty of situations where the benefit is much greater, because the QCD never enters your modified adjusted gross income, which means it doesn't just reduce your taxable income. For example, meet fictional John. He's 77 and his modified adjusted gross income is $110,000 in 2026, including a $10,000 RMD. John donates just about $10,000 a year already, but hasn't been taking advantage of QCDs. Currently, because he is $1,000 over that $109,000 cap for the IRMA surcharges for singles, he is paying an additional $81.20 a month in Part B surcharges and $14.50 a month in Part D surcharges. He's also paying 22% tax on the $10,000 RMD. By simply adding a QCD, instead of just paying the taxes on that money and donating it anyway, John would now move his modified adjusted gross income, or MAGI, to $100,000 instead of $110,000. In total, this means he not only saves the $2,200 in taxes on the RMD, but he also saves just over $1.1 thousand in surcharges on an annual basis, $250 if he was in Arizona for state tax, and about $130 in additional federal taxation because part of the One Big Beautiful Bill Act $6,000 deduction would start to phase out with a higher MAGI. And possibly on top of all of this, he saves on additional Social Security tax if he was below 85% of it being taxable before the RMD. Exclude that benefit, and John saves over $3,700 a year. Not to mention, not only does he pay less tax and surcharges, but depending on how he was donating, the charity also gets more money. So it's much more than just the federal income tax, which on its own is enough reason to strongly consider QCDs, if you avoid these key mistakes. Because the last thing you'll want to do is get all excited about the tax savings here, do just a couple small things wrong, and end up paying more compared to if you'd never heard about QCDs. Here are 3 mistakes. Number 1, withdrawing the money first. This is the easiest to make. Someone hears about QCDs, decides to use their RMD charitably, pulls the money out of their IRA, and then writes a check to their church. Done. Right? No. The moment that money hits your bank account, it counts as income. The QCD benefit is gone. The IRS does not care what you did with it after. The transfer has to go, as we stated earlier, custodian to charity directly. Your IRA provider sends the check, not you. If you've already taken your RMD for the year and then tried to use a QCD, you cannot retroactively undo the RMD. Now, if you've taken only a portion of your RMD, you can still use QCDs for the remaining part of that RMD. Number 2, incorrectly using a QCD as a reason not to do Roth conversions earlier on. I'm not saying this isn't a reason in many cases not to do them, but in others, that doesn't check out. For example, if John was donating that $10,000 a year and decided not to do Roth conversions because of that, and he was just planning to use QCDs to mitigate them, this would be a mistake if his RMDs are going to be $40,000 a year in a higher tax bracket. He could still likely benefit from Roth conversions to get that RMD lower. He just likely shouldn't convert everything so he can still take advantage of QCDs. Number 3, thinking that you can send money to unqualified places. QCDs cannot go to donor-advised funds. They cannot go to private foundations. They cannot go to your grandkids. They have to go directly to a qualified 501c3 charity. So the bottom line is this: QCDs can be a fantastic way, or part of a way, to navigate both RMDs and Roth conversions. And you may be sitting there thinking, if this is such a good strategy, why haven't I heard about it? And that's a fair question. The IRS only started tracking QCDs as a separate reportable item in 2026. Before then, and still today, there isn't even clear data on how many people are using them. But there's a reason Michael Kitces describes them as consistently underutilized. The good news is that the fix here isn't learning a complicated new financial strategy. It's not restructuring your entire retirement. It's maybe reconsidering some Roth conversions and then changing the sequence of something you're likely already doing, donating. And that's really the bigger point here. Most of what financial media labels as RMD strategies are written for households with $3 million or more. QCDs work nearly at any IRA size if you're already charitable. And listen, you can just go ahead and convert everything to Roth and be done with it. It's hard to even blame you. You have that piece. Or you can start with a clear map of what's actually available at your asset level, QCDs, and more. If you want to do the second one, I put together a free 6-page cheat sheet called the 4 Main Tax Strategies for a sub $2 million retirement. It dives deeper into exactly what we talked about today and much more in plain language with trade-offs and examples for each one. It's free. It's the first link in the description. Check it out below. Now that you understand just how powerful using QCDs in retirement can be, there's another lingering question that still hasn't been answered. If you did no optimization, what do RMDs actually cost you in today's dollars, factoring in inflation at your balance? Are they even a big deal? In the video on screen now, I go through exactly that. What the RMD amounts actually are at 500,000, 1 million, and 1.5 million, and how much tax that actually adds up to. When you watch it, you'll realize this tax bomb you've been warned about may not actually be the end of the world. I'll see you there.